Hi and welcome to D6 Damage Wargaming. I'm Tom, this is not Paul, and tonight we are going to be talking about Warcry Catacombs and Warcry Tome of Champions 2020. Hello! The more observant of you may have noticed that Paul is in fact not sat next to me. In fact, his massive bonce has not blessed these hallowed halls in quite some time. Because I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the plague that has stricken the land, and many of the lands. And yeah, with the UK restrictions, the lockdown restrictions and stuff, it's made it difficult, nigh impossible, to do any recording. Which is a shame. But we have taken this opportunity to work on some bits, like get warbands painted up, extra bits for armies, terrain, stuff like that. So we haven't been idle. We've got ourselves a bit of a board going on for Catacombs. I'm sure if any of you go on like Facebook groups and stuff, which I'm sure a lot of you do, there's people that have put like the extra walls, they've built the walls in and made it 3D and things like that. And we've had a crack at that, doing our take on it. It's I reckon it's pretty good. To be fair, it's all modular and magnetic and awesome. Just got to do the build the craftsmanship justice with a decent paint job. But that being said, I think I will get into the Catacombs book. That one, that's a bit thicker, that one. Yeah, so I think what I'll do is I'll go through this book, but by now, by the time this comes out, it's been recorded and loaded and stuff. People have done reviews, reading the book, reading everything through it and whatever. What I'll do is I'll go through how we're going to use this in relation to like the format on our channel. So like through like a campaign system basically. Because there's all the what they called fated quests, the fated quests and that in here, and I personally think they're the best way to play Warcry, because pickup games are pretty cool, but I don't think you're really getting everything out of it. Do you know what I mean? You're not really, there's like a narrative going, as well as like still being competitive, but still you want a cool story. You want a goal, but pretty standard opening to the book, as you would expect from GW books these days. The quality is brilliant. Loads of lore and stuff at the beginning. I'm not going to go through the lore because there is like there's not shed tons of it, but there's quite a bit of it. Doug at 2+ Tough does like a whole breakdown of the different sections from this. In his lore reviews are outstanding. So if you haven't heard of him, you've been living under a rock, and I suggest you go over there and have a look. But it's not just Warcry stuff, but he has covered it. Yeah, Varen Thranx's Moor. It's all pretty cool stuff. Loads of really cool names. The artwork is just phenomenal. Like maps. I love maps. Love maps in these books. This is like I don't know if you can see with the glare. I'm not going to keep doing this, but like it's like a wedge, like a cake section taken out of the land with a big weird beast skull on top of it, and like the names of places. The names of places are just amazing. So like, the Seed of Agony, the Chamber of Boiling Blood, Well of Shadows, Statue of the Ashen One. I mean that's these all sound like the Spawn Caves. They sound like lovely places. But what we got here? The Scions of the Flame and the Canaanite Shadowstalkers. So for the channel, I wanted to do the Scions of the Flame, because I just think they just look cool. Also, I collect Slaves to Darkness, so they're like a multi-use for me. And Paul, he's always had a thing for elves. Really, in Warhammer Fantasy Battle days, he used to play Dark Elves, so he's gone for the Canaanite Shadowstalkers. Also, I cannot stand painting elves. Over there, I've got a half finished, lead down on its side. What are they called? The Wild Hunt from Beastgrave. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't finish them. I got off. I just wanted to drive the paintbrush up my nose. I couldn't stand it. But I don't like elves. The the models are fantastic. This is like the beginning part of the book. It's a fair old wedge of the book, to be honest. It's like what are we going through here? Like 7 or 8 pages of pictures of like scenarios. Not scenarios, like things they've set up. The blazing fury of the sun. You know what I mean? There's like what they call dioramas, and I guess they're just showcasing what the models look like on the terrain and things. But it's a fair old wedge of the book until you get into the meat of the book, Tunnels of Death. With the things they've made out that aren't anything to do with a Warcry board. So the pictures they've like guys jumping across bridges and stuff. They're phenomenal. It'd be amazing to actually play on a board like that, but I don't have thousands of hours and or pounds to do that. But anyway, cool. So the beginning of it is pretty standard. So it's just like dungeon terrain, infernal, forge floor. So like don't fall. The floor is lava, basically, and then it then goes through like how to that's almost like an index, and then it goes through how to like generate the table. Which again, if you've played a vanilla Warcry, it's the same. It's the same thing, different skin, basically. You know, just setting up walls and stuff. Well, not walls, because the walls don't come in the box. We've made those. You know, like your bridges, your doors, the scatter terrain, things like that. Dungeon terrain. This is a bit more interesting because it's got the rules for it. It gives you like a good thing, clarifies visibility in that as well. So it's not like it's basically if you can see from like if one part of someone's base can see another part of someone's base, not the model from the drawing here I'm looking at, not the model, not like the guy's sword. The line they've shown is from the base. So it's I think it actually says it as well. In this image, the shroud blade is visible to the immolator as a straight line can be drawn from a part of the shroud blade to a part of the immolator. So, and the line is actually on his base, not on his arm or anything. So basically, it's like that's your little zone of terror. It states the obvious here with a dotted line trying to go through the wall, which obviously no one's going to try and pull that one on you. Yep, opening the doors and stuff. You can go through an open door. You can't go through a closed door. You can use one of the abilities. There's a universal ability. It's on a double, and you can breach the door. And you have to roll. It's on a. You have to use an attack. Oh, sorry, a weapon that's got 3 inches or less. So like essentially a melee attack, like a sword or a club or whatever. And you have to add. You get your number of attacks, so you've got 3 attacks, and then you roll those 3 dice. Any of those are a 2+. You add that to your strength. So, here we go. Add the number of dice that scored a 2+. So it's not like you get a 6, you add the 6 to your dice. You got a 2+, that one counts. And then you add your strength. And if it's higher than 6, you open the door. And that's called breach door. And the only ones who can't use it are Nighthaunt, because obviously they've got an ability that just allows them to float through it. And in fact it's called float through wall. And another way to open a door is if one of the little switches you get in the pack, if they are within an inch of the door, you can use an action to pull the lever, go through the door. But if there's not a lever, you got to be busting that door down. Lurk in the shadows. That was a pretty cool one. That was it's a double again. Until the end of the round, the fighter is not visible to the enemy fighters more than 6 inches away. If this fighter is within 1 inch of a dungeon wall, that's pretty cool because that could actually that could save you in quite a few. I can think of quite a few opportunities in the last campaign we played where that would have been helpful. So if someone's like surrounded and blocked in, like an enemy who's got an ability. And they're not going to be able to move around to you, or they're not going to be able to get in close enough, you can like move away and then lurk. So they're not going to be able to get in. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to be able to get in that 6 inches to be able to throw something at you or do whatever they've got to do. So I think that could be quite handy at some points. The universal ones, the abilities they have, always tend to be quite handy. I found that I use the universal ones more than I use the Iron Golems ones, but the Iron Golems aren't the best. Bless their little iron hearts. Push into pit, that is going to be amazing. Push into pit is a triple. you pick an enemy fighter that was within 1 inch of you and within half an inch of the floor is lava, and you. What does it say here? Yeah, until the end of the battle round. Oh, that's the wrong. I'm reading the wrong one. Both players roll a dice, and then they add that fighter's toughness. If you score higher than your opponents, the enemy fighter is taken down. So essentially, this is Sparta them into the lava. That's going to really hurt at some points, because you might be going up against someone that's a lot tougher than you and just roll better than them, and you've just pushed an ogre into the lava and taken off 30 wounds in one hit. That'd be amazing. The rules for the scatter terrain are pretty cool as well. They're like either buffy or debuffy, essentially. So, for example, the coffin, whatever it's called, the cursed caskets, if you end up within an inch of that, you take d6 wounds or d6 damage. Then you what you got? The lever, discussed that. The shattered pillars, I'm pretty sure the shattered pillars are just, they're just an obstacle. It's an obstacle in low terrain, essentially. The cool one though is the sewer pit thing. It's essentially it becomes an entrance. If there's nobody stood on top of it, it's an entrance. I think it says, yeah, that's it. Not within X amount of inches of it. The sewer is an entrance tunnel if there are no enemy fighters upon it. So you could be quite sneaky and be like, I know he's gonna bring them in that pit, and then just sacrifice the little dude and stick them on there, and be like, well, that's out of action for you for a minute. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I can see that one being pretty cool actually. That'd be sweet. What else we got? The wall breach. Again, it's just obstacle-y type stuff. The arm stash is pretty cool. If you are within 1 inch of the arm stash, you can basically get +1 attack to anything that isn't to anything that's 3 inches or less. You get +1 attack, so you can really start to if you use onslaught when you're near that as well, start bumping them attacks up. That'd be pretty cool. You can't get near it and then use it to throw an extra thing. You can only use it to melee stuff, essentially. Right. Yeah, I'm pretty. Oh, yeah, the walls. Oh, that was it. Not the walls. The bridges. The bridges are cool. The metal bridges being, if you end up on it, you have to roll a dice. If you roll a 1, that bridge becomes weakened. Then, if whoever rolls the next one on that, everybody with the centre of their base upon the bridge is immediately taken down. It says that whoever's turn it is picks which order they come off in. So if you've got an objective that is like kill the enemy leader, and your leader's on there, you're going to pick their leader down first. So then that's a win. And then your leader would die. I don't know how that'll play out actually. How would that play out if both your leaders are still on it? That's a bit of a weird one. I would like to know. Well, I don't know what you think. Put that something in the comments about that. That's quite an interesting one. Obviously, if it's just their leader, you're taken down, you win. But yeah, that'd be an odd one. Would you call it a draw? I don't know. Anyway, the dungeon abilities, the universal ones that I've just mentioned. One faction that is actually quite punished by this book, or not this book, but the dungeon scenario, I guess you'd call it, is the Corvus Cabal, because all of their abilities are like start 3 inches above your enemy. If you started this move 3 inches above your enemy, you do loads of damage when you hit your enemy, or whatever, along those lines. But there's nothing that's 3 inches up or up. So what they've done, because obviously it's in the dungeon, what they've done is they've given them wall run on a double and running strike on a quad. Wall run essentially is exactly what it says on the tin. You run around the wall, so you can essentially use it to like slingshot over an enemy if they're in front of you, like jump over them essentially. However, during that move action, the fighter must stay within 1 inch of a dungeon wall. So yeah, you don't have to be right on it. So you could do some like janky movement to gain a bit of inches to wherever you want it to be. And you have to start within an inch of the wall. That's basically, and it says as if they could fly. So yeah, you go in, you're jumping over people basically. And then the quad is running strike, is wall run, but it's rampage as well. So at the end of it, you get to make a bonus move and a bonus attack. So you can still do you can still get some real good attacks off, especially with I can't remember what it's called now. We call it Medieval Eagle in our group. but I can't think of his name. The guy with the massive wings in the call, the guy who looks like the leader that isn't the leader. That one. He's got like 8 inches of movement, so he's going to be legging it right the way down, like certain sections of the entire board, and then at the end of it, getting because there's no like real long runs, so he's going to be going the 8 inches, and then he's going to be getting 3 attacks into someone, So I think he's got 5 attacks. So he's going to be putting 15 attacks. If he then lands next to the weapon, the arms stash, he's getting 18 attacks. That's going to be stupid. Cool. I mean, again, this shows all your entrance points, where your doors go and what have you. The board looks cool enough when it's not 3D, so I'm really hoping that R1 comes out quite nicely. Dungeon battle plan generator. So this is, instead of using the cards that you get for standard Warcry, obviously, because they're all on normal boards and they've got different sections, and this has got predetermined areas of entry. You've got these cards here. So I guess, how many are there? Oh, you've got Table A, Table B, Table A and Table B, so I guess you'd just do D6 and then D6, and then you've got your victory cards, and you've got Table A and Table B. Again, D6 and then a D6. Twist, you've got your twists here as well, which are all different to... I won't go through them all. They're all different to regular Warcry, because I'll name a few. You've got alert and ready, I guess, because you're like sentries going through the catacombs. Sealed, never to be opened, dangerous doorways, hidden traps, treacherous bridges. This is all very Warhammer Quest. I really like that. When you start, only 2 of your battle groups come on first. So like dagger, shield, hammer. It's either going to be your shield and your hammer, or any variation of the 3, but only 2 of them. So like hammer and dagger. They've actually got them. There's a few that are mixed up. So on, like, for example, hold fast, you've got the red side would have the shield and their dagger, but the blue side have their hammer and their dagger. So it's like they mix it up quite a bit. It's going to be. I can see you making a few mistakes and going, "Oh man, I should have put those in a different group." Do you know what I mean? I always do that though. I usually keep everything in the right. My hammer and my dagger, they're all the same usually. I usually keep big guys in the shield and a mix of the other 2. But I can see this giving a few little surprises. That'd be quite sweet. I think that was it. Yeah, your third group always comes on the 3rd battle round, if I remember rightly. Yeah, that'd be cool. I don't know if there's anything in these cards that changes that up a bit. I don't know. I haven't read through those yet. We're going to go into this a bit blind. And then this is the terrain. If you use the other side of the board with the Catacombs box set, you can make up an above ground table. Basically, they've got a few setups for you there. But then you don't have to use the cards all the time. You know what I mean? For the overground one, you can just make it how you want. Like, you've seen some people make some real cool terrain that they just make a cool looking board. We use the cards just because it's like. It's part of the format we do. We use it in our normal, like, off-camera games as well. But we've got the cards. We're going to use them. We paid the money for them. We're going to use them. Right, the campaign section. Like I said before, these they've got ones that are made, or they sound like they're made specifically for the what are they called? The Shadow Stalkers, because the captured Melusai, Cain's blood. I think that sounds pretty Shadow Stalkery, doesn't it? And then you've got ones that are specifically for, or they sound like, I'm not entirely sure if they are or not, but they sound like they're for the, what are they called? What are they called? Signs of the Flame. There you go. So I'm looking there because they're there. The Signs of the Flame. This one's called the Immolation Engine. That just sounds cool. That sounds way cooler than any of the other 3 elf ones, because the elves are rubbish. Beasts of Flame. Again, pretty cool. You only get, what's that? You only get 2 for those? And then what's the one in the middle there? The one in the middle is the Pit of Darkness, which I guess that could be anyone, couldn't it? But I think if you're playing Warcry and you want to get the most out of it, you want to be doing one of these what are they called? Fated quests, because they've got a little narrative to them. They've got like a little bit of blurb at the beginning of each convergence. They've got a little bit of story at the beginning, so you know what you're doing. What I've found, if you play like long campaigns, is if you get stuck on a convergence, it can get quite soul destroying. And a few. Paul will cry into his beer quite often over how he got stuck on one convergence for like, I think it was like 7 weeks. I think it was 7, possibly 8 weeks, and that was just soul destroying. It knocked the fun out of it a bit. So the one we filmed, if you fail your convergence, you go through it anyway. I don't know how you'd want to do it. Like maybe you've never failed a convergence. I don't know, but yeah, we like to play narrative, but we also like to bash the snot out of each other. So it kind of, I don't know. It's kind of counterintuitive sometimes, but yeah, they're pretty cool. You get like your command trait, your artifacts. They've made some new ones in these ones, which I'll go over in the Tome of Champions. They've put some different mechanics in, which are quite cool. It's not just the like adds 1 to an ability, or your guy gets +1 toughness, or anything like that. You know what I mean? It's like they've actually put some new mechanics in there. What else? That's that basically. These look like generic ones. The Obsidian Tower, some more fated quests. They've done this weird bit. Like they've got like a list. So it's your standard. You spend 10 glory points to dominate a territory. Brilliant. Growing power. Each territory you get 50 points to add to your roster, or to build your roster. Thralls. You can take a thrall and it doesn't count towards your thing when you're mustering your warband, but the points still count. And then it's got like which ones can take it. Basically, it could have just said all the Chaos Warbands. Like, because every single one of these here is from Chaos. So, like, the Unmade, the Untamed Beast, Spire Tyrant, Splintered Fang, Skaven, Maggotkin, of Nurgle being demons and Rotbringers, Heed Knights of Slaanesh. It's like, they could have just cut that out and said, all Chaos. So, I don't know why they've done that. It seems a bit pointless. They do like their rune marks in this, though, don't they? So, I think that's maybe why they've done it. Exalted command traits, so you can end up with like, this one's you end up with better stuff. Your campaign outcome gets you better things. So I think these are just like better grossing campaigns. These ones, which was going to mean that they're going to be more difficult, I suppose. But again, they're all pretty cool. Trail of Destruction. That's got like an underground map. That's pretty sweet. Oh, this one you go underground, overground, underground. I do like that. They're mixing it up. That's pretty cool. Spoils of Victory. I'm not going to read these because I don't want to spoil them for myself, to be honest with you. Because these are all what you would get from the fated quests. And yeah, basically that's it. For some reason as well, they've got at the back. I was right. The ones that sound like they're specific to the Shadowstalkers or the Spire Tyrants, Signs of the Flame, sorry, are specific to them because you've got a list here of the things you get. And for some reason, on the back, there's the Canaanite Shadowstalkers, like, name generator, and like the origin generator, and the leader one, the leader and favoured thing, but there's nothing for the Signs of the Flame. And that's just like plonked on the back. I don't get that. But still, cannot wait to get stuck into this book. I really can't. It's doing my head in. I want to get playing. Want to get filming, and like start producing some more content in Warcry. The board we got as well is going to look pretty sweet. So and I think as well I've posted my Signs of the Flame on my Instagram. So I'm sure that would have popped up somewhere like in like this at some point. Maybe even Paul's would have gone over his empty seat in honour of his memory, even though he's not dead. And he's uploaded his Shadowstalkers. He painted them in about 20 minutes and done an amazing job. So yeah, that is that. So I think I will be getting into the Trial of Champions next. If you're new around here, if you go into one of the playlists that's in a direction on whatever device you're looking at, you'll see Paul and I did an entire campaign using the Tome of Champions 2019. I personally would not play Warcry without using the Tome of Champions. It added a lot, but in really simple ways. But it changed it enough that like stuff really matters, you know. I won't harp on about that. We go on about it enough in the campaign. Again, if you're new around here, go and have a gander. It's amazing, if I do say so myself. It's this is a bit different compared to the 2019 one. I guess because the 2019 one's like brand, it was all like brand new information, and so this one it hasn't like reinvented the wheel. Do you know what I mean? It's not changed it and like to the degree that the first one did, but it cleared up a few things. I think you'll find I conflated the rule books earlier and said in that one about the consumable items. It does things like that. It added a few things. I'll go through that in a second. But first page contents, exciting stuff. Not really, but it's got like there's a lot of lore. There's at the beginning. There's a campaign section because here rules update, brilliant, clarifying like the rune marks and things. Yeah, lovely. The glory points. I'm not entirely sure if that's different from the first one, from the Tome of Champions 2019, because like take part in a battle 3, won a battle, another 2. I think it is, but is there all fighters have taken down your opponent's warband had right. Okay, there's another one added. Your opponent's warband has at least 2 more areas of dominated territory than your warband. Get 1 glory. That wasn't added actually. Kept forgetting about it though. So they've clarified it there. Reinforcements. Okay, this is the lesser artifacts consumables. It makes it a bonus action. So essentially, you get like you get like 3 actions. So yeah, you get your 2 actions. So you could move, attack, move, attack, whatever. But if you've got a consumable, you can neck that potion, throw that bomb, do whatever. The open play section. I don't think we're really going to cover the open play section, like especially not on the channel. We want to do like more narrative stuff, and obviously open play is as it sounds. So it's like, if you just want like one-off games, that's great. They've done like actual like rules because they've made that one for White Dwarf, didn't they? Where there was like the arena battles, and some people made some awesome like Colosseums. There may or may not be one of those in the possession of someone in the channel, but that can be painted up quite lovely. But there's like there's rules for what they're called like multiplayer ones as well. Like you've got if you do a multiplayer like pit fight, special rules. You can take reactions. So if like you're getting attacked, someone declares that they're going to attack you, you can go right. Okay, you've got 3 options. You can parry, grapple, or riposte, and it's just they don't just happen though, which is quite cool. So you can't like it's not like a gimme. So it doesn't make you wary of attacking someone. You're not like, oh, they're just going to riposte. Or, do you know what I mean? So the player controlling the target fighter rolls a dice. On a 4+, subtract 1 from the attack's characteristic of that attack action to a minimum of 1 for parry. So that's pretty cool. Grapple. Again, it's a roll off. I won't sit here and read every single rule, but like a quick grapple. You can make the person fail their attack where you've grappled with them. However, the attacking fighter is still considered to have made 1 action. Otherwise, the attack is made as normal. So you basically have a roll off, and if the person wins the roll off, like the first round of attacks doesn't hit them, so they've grabbed hold of them. Pretty cool. Riposte on a 4+. Once the person, this is quite a cool one. On a 4+, you allocate D3 damage to the person attacking you, but their attack still lands. So if someone comes in to attack you and they've got like 2 wounds left, but they've got the jump on you, you can go right riposte, and you can like you've got a chance of you'll still take the wounds that they're going to give you, but you could like take them down with you. That's pretty cool. Random events. I didn't read through the random events, and I won't go through them here now. But random event, release the monster. That's pretty cool. You set up a monster on a battlefield. This is a 2d6 random 2d6 random event chart. So it's at the start of the combat phase before any fighters are activated. The player that won the initiative roll rolls this, and so you see what happens for the round. Release a monster. Vicious traps. That's pretty cool. The crowd turns ugly. That's quite a Blood Bowl. Subtract one. Yeah, the crowd subtract one for the value of abilities. Oh, I guess because you're getting heckled, like you just don't, you're not as good. I don't know. The crowd roars. Add one to movement. Release the beasts. You get to put beasts on the table with a combined value of 250 points. If that came up a couple of rounds in a row, that would be quite horrendous. Chaotic beasts from the group. Yeah. So it's just chaotic beasts. So the chaotic beasts from Monsters and Mercenaries, or the ones that were added in the Tome of Champions books. I mean, that's pretty cool. Like, you've got like a whole load of other rules, because it's quite like, it's all battle fought on flat ground, so it's not really like, well, you could put a few bits of terrain in there, I guess, but the vast majority of it is going to be just running each other. So this is, rather than just be run at each other, bash, 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 this adds a bit more into it, which is pretty cool. Dungeon pit fights. I guess that's bringing it into the Catacombs book. You can, I don't know, what's this? Oh, this is including a pit fight in a campaign, so that might be a pretty cool thing to do for the channel, like in a Catacombs thing. Like, have like a midway break in the campaign and add in a dungeon, just like a random, in one of the other random dungeons, add something in, like we just bumped into each other in the shadows in the Catacombs. That'd be quite cool. And it's got ways of earning glory points in that. Yeah, victory, displays of brutality, displays of resilience, displays of showmanship. A fighter in your warband used a triple or a quad ability. You gain a glory each time that happens. So that's pretty cool. But what I've noticed with this, the Tome of Champions 2020, why I had to read the title on the front of the book, I don't know, is that it is very glory hungry. Or is that the right way of putting it? There is a lot of glory up for grabs, because there is a lot of ways to spend it in a campaign. Narrative play, brilliant. This is, I've not read through all of this, because there's a lot of lore here. There's like there's a story called Silence, and I will go through this, but there's I read really slowly, and I mean, there's only 3 double pages, but when you've got children and work, it gets a bit difficult to keep diving out into the garage. But the city is called Soroth Core, the Silent City, and this campaign system is all built around playing through that. I did look at this for doing something like this for the channel, but once I'd gone through it, I thought, man, we'd have to change our format, or really figure out a good format for it, because it's ideally for 3 to 4 players. Because the whole campaign's done in phases. So you have phase 1 is the battles for the outer city. Phase 2 is the battles for Narthal Hor. Phase 3 is the battles for the Heart of Silence, and then the campaign end. But you have to work. It's like a league, so you have to work out whoever is, like, I can't remember the word that it's like, the games master. I think that's the wording they use. But like the arbiter, whatever, the person in charge of the campaign ranks the players. The person with the most territories is top. Person with the least is the bottom. And then there's a few other things for, like, tiebreakers. So like whoever has upgraded a territory, which is a new mechanic, that becomes, whoever's got the most upgraded territories becomes the top. And so it's like a tiebreaker. And if it still gets down to nothing, I think the final tiebreaker is, out of those 2 players, it's a roll off. But the top 2 would play each other. Say you had an equal amount of players and you had 6 players. The top 2 play each other, the middle 2 play each other, the bottom 2 play each other for each of the 3 convergences. So that the players are going to change rank as the campaign goes on. So your convergence is not always going to be against the same person. There is a mechanic in here for if you've got an odd amount of players, which is pretty cool. That person basically, if they're bottom, so they're the odd one out, they get a bye. So they get to go through the final convergence as though they won it. So they get everybody gets an item, a relic, and a command trait. But the winner gets it has the list of here we go. It has the convergences here, and at the bottom, it has the spoils, and it's a special territory. So everybody in the campaign would get their their relic and their command trait, but the 3 winners get an extra territory that's got, and it's a unique territory with a unique ability. So that there is something for it's not like everybody wins participation medal. It's nothing like that. So you do need to win it to get the bonuses. But the person who's the odd one out, so bottom, they go through as though they won. So they will get the territory, and they will get the artifact and the battle trait. They get those because they're bottom. It gives them a boost. So when you come round to the second phase, they will then be in the mix again. Do you know what I mean? So they aren't always. So whoever, you're not ever going to get someone, unless they're sort of really, really unlucky, that is going to be last every time, because they will get bumped up the rankings, which is a pretty cool mechanic. It mixes it up. Doesn't make it boring. The campaign master. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah. So the phases come into play for the territories, basically. So there's 3 new territory tables, and as usual, you can dominate a territory. So you'll spend your 10 glory to dominate the territory. Then you can upgrade that territory, and it varies between like 5 glory to upgrade it to 2 glory, and anywhere in between. And again, I won't go through them all, but you've got things like let's say the first one. On a 2d6, you go to get a territory, you roll 2d6, and you get a 2 to 3. You get the Hidden Catacombs entrance. It's 5 glory to upgrade. Once it is upgraded, you get to add 1 to your priority roll. So, for picking who's deploying first and blah 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 and all that, you get to add 1 to. As long as you have that, every game you play, you get to add 1 to your priority roll. And it doesn't cap it at 6. So if you get a 6, you got a 7. Next one, Ruined Stronghold, Desolate Ruins. Let's go Desolate Ruins. Right, Desolate Ruins. The territory only increases in points available to spend. This territory only increases the points available to spend on fighters when mustering your warband by 25 instead of 50. Right, so you've captured it. So you've got another 50 points to spend. You haven't. You've only got 25. That's the sort of the rule there. But if you spend 2 glory to upgrade this territory, the Desolate Ruins become rebuilt. This territory now increases, so it's 50 again. So bit of a dud, that one, to be fair. What we got here? Forgotten Spire. You spend you get it. Spend your 10. You can spend 3 glory points to upgrade this territory. Upgrade, it becomes a watchtower. If you are the defender, at the start of the first hero phase, roll a dice. On a 4+, you gain an additional wild dice. So any game that you're a defender, that's brilliant. Like you get on a 4+, you get another wild dice. That's cool. These are the first phase ones. So they're none of them are amazing. There's a sealed tomb there. Sealed tomb. You can unseal that tomb, and it becomes you can get a free artifact of power, and that's 3 glory points. But you have to roll a 6 to attempt to unlock it once it's upgraded. So it doesn't say you can only do it then. So I'm assuming you do that every end game phase. It doesn't say. I'm assuming you have to spend your 3 glory each time. But I'd do that 3 glory to get an artifact of power. That'd be pretty handy, especially in the first phase. The second phase. The names of them are so cool. Abandoned Foundry, Surgical Complex, Eerie Quarter, Gore Pit, Steel Wrought Shrine. Again, a lot of these the price is starting to go up now. There's none that are cheap, so they're 5, 3, 5. But again, these ones, you earn D6 glory points at the start of the Aftermath phase. So if you own an abandoned foundry at the beginning, when you go to like, right, let's do our post game stuff, I get D6 glory, bang, that, and that costs you 5 glory points at the beginning. So over time, you're going to make that back. Which again, like glory in the Tome of Champions, is a real currency now. You know, so you're spending it. You have to spend it to get fighters back. You have to spend it to get the territories. There's a load of territories, and you've got to upgrade those territories. So yeah, anything that will give you extra glory. I think if you again go back into the playlist and look at towards the end of our campaign. No spoilers. I won't say who had what, but at points in the post game, there are territories that start piling on extra glory points, and it's like it really starts to pay off. So you know you're not just going, oh, you earned 5 glory, I earned 3 glory. You're like, right, I lost the game. I got 3 for taking part. I lost the game. I killed your leader, so I got 4. Plus D6, plus D3 for that one. On a 4 up, I get another. Do you know what I mean? So you can really start going mental. But the Gore Pit, you can spend 5 glory to upgrade this territory. Add 1 to the value of abilities used by fighters in your warband to a maximum of 6. That's pretty cool. Because there are a lot of abilities that are like, get wounds back. The abilities that will be relating to like... for the Iron Golems, throw bolus. If you have like you use the double, you use the double like the amount of the dice to determine how much damage it does. That's just pumping it up a bit. You can, there's a lot of abilities that will benefit. There's a lot that it won't. There's a lot that there's a lot that it will. Steel wrought shrine. Don't know why I can't say that. 5 glory to upgrade it. Eye of the Gods during the aftermath sequence when rolling for destiny levels. Add 1 to the rolls made for fighters in your warband. Treat rolls of a 6+ as a 6. So your entire warband now gains destiny levels on a 5 up after the game. That's amazing. That's a 1 in 3 chance for everybody instead of a 1 in 6. That's pretty cool. Go on to the third phase. Again, more like these they're getting more 3. Actually, they're the same price as these ones to upgrade them. But you know, you've got ancient palaces, 5 glory. If you want to upgrade it, this territory now increases the points available to spend on fighters when mustering your warband by 100 instead of 50. So it's essentially like doubled its value as a territory. Entrance to the Dark. You can get an artifact of power out of the lowest roll on this table. You get an artifact of power, potentially. Make extra glory, make extra treasure searches at the end. Oh wow, that's pretty cool. Cultic Sanctuary. You can spend 3 glory points to upgrade this territory. This territory counts as 2 territories for the purposes of convergence battles and ending the campaign. So, like, whoever's got the most territories is going to be at the top. This now counts as 2. So there's like what's that? 15 new territories to play with there. And that's just in that campaign. What I've just gone through there is an extra campaign. Like it's not like the fated quests or anything like that. You play an entire campaign like that, and you've got this is the artifacts of power, the command traits. I mean, I won't go through all of these, but there's your usuals of like subtract 1 from the value of abilities of enemy fighters that were within 6 of this fighter. Add 1 to the toughness of a fighter. These ones are cool though. These are new and these are dangerous. Once per battle, this fighter can use Onslaught ability without needing to use any dice. That's brilliant. So you could do. It doesn't say that. It doesn't say that you can't use it on top. It doesn't say you can't stack it on top of Onslaught. So you can go, right, I'm going to use Creeping Derangement, which gives me Onslaught for free. I'm going to use Onslaught. So you know what I mean? You're getting, if you really want to pump damage through, and that sort of use an ability for free without using the dice becomes a theme to what as you get through this book. That's like another. I think it's a really good mechanic as well because it's just going to make games. It'll make games deadlier, but it'll also like you're going to be on the receiving end of that sometimes, but you're also going to be dishing it out sometimes. So you've got to take the rough with the smooth in that respect. This is a new mechanic though. It's this is a command trait, Void Chill. Count each critical hit scored from attack actions that have the blast rune mark and that target this fighter as a hit instead. So the owner of this command trait cannot be critted by basically magical blasts, which is quite niche, but I guess could come into if you're playing with a lot of the AOS warbands. I can see that being quite relevant, but the Chaos warbands not so much. I don't think any of them have really got magic-y abilities like that. But that was pretty cool. The convergences, these are awesome. They've got their own special abilities as well. So when you play a convergence, you have your abilities, the universal abilities, and the abilities that are specific to the convergence for whatever phase of the campaign you're in. So you can see where I'm going when I say it'll be quite difficult to do this on the channel without it being like the longest campaign ever. Do you know what I mean? It'd be cool, but logistically it would be a pain in my ass. So that might have to be a one day. But yeah, that's just cool. Final convergence, and then you've got the aftermath, whatever section for the campaign. That's pretty awesome. But like that bit there is basically a brand new campaign system that if you can play in each of those phases as well. It's a 4-week period, and you can play as many games as you want in that 4 weeks. So if you really like, say, I don't know, obviously at the moment we can't, but if you want to go, like if you played at a local store or whatever, you can go down there and get a couple of games in a night, and they can count towards this campaign. It doesn't say you have to play with a particular group or anything like that. But yeah, that's pretty cool. Sorry, there was a weird wind chimey noise out, and I don't own a wind chime. That's weird. But yeah, continuing the story, that's basically ending the campaign. Brilliant. And then it has like whoever came first, second, third, fourth, and below, you all get something. But obviously, because you've been working around the city of, what was it called? Sorothkor, I want to say Sorothkor. I remembered it. Yeah. You've all been prancing about in the city, so you will find things. The first one, fourth place and below, it's pretty good. Black Shard Chris, won't go through it. Whoever came first though is the Lord of the Spire, and they get the Aetherfold puzzle cube. I won't spoil it, but I've read that and it is a pretty damn good artifact. So I guess it is a little bit towards the end, participation medal, but there are degrees. Not all participation medals are born equal in this book. It's pretty cool. What's this? The warband roster. So what is quite a substantially bigger warband roster, because of all the different territories and stuff you can have. Narrative battles. That's pretty cool. Again, narrative battles. I don't know if I'll be doing well. I think these are just like one-off games you can play, and they've got like a battle plan ability. That's pretty cool. See if you just wanted like a beer and pretzels game with your mate, that'd be pretty sweet. But again, I think we want to do more campaign style narrative stuff on this channel. So I mean, they're pretty sweet. All of them have got a battle plan ability. I mean, it'd be pretty cool to I don't know, build like a crazy list against each other, do like a showcase. I don't know, but that's not something that's at the front of our minds, I don't think. The Trial of Champions. This is what we did in the last campaign. So again, not a lot's changed, to be honest, with regards to the territories you can get. I think all of the abilities for the territories are exactly the same. So like the lowest one being nothing of note, and the highest one being a hidden storm vault. And yeah, I think the abilities are exactly the same. Critical injuries. I think a few of these did actually change, right? Because when you go through, when you do your treasure searches at the end of the like the aftermath set, what's it called? The end game set bit, whatever. post game. When you do that, and you roll, right, you search for treasure. Each different Grand Alliance has its own artifact section now. So obviously, what was it? Chaos, Order, Destruction, and Death. Each have their own section for treasures and stuff you can find because they're all like themed. And if you're searching for a treasure and you roll a double, you can get a Champions reward, and they're all instant, so they all happen there and then, and you get the Champions reward on top of whatever. So you rolled like, I don't know, 44. You get an ancient map fragment, and it happens immediately, and you can change one of your territories. So your champion is basically like he's being rewarded by the gods, and you find treasure. So really starting to mix things up, like, you know, you're getting a sense of achievement as well as it's just going to add some cool narrative to it as well, you know. The injury table, which that alone makes this so much better than vanilla Warcry. Just that alone, because like you roll for an injury and it's not like, oh, I lost a glory. It's not called a glory. I got it wrong in the campaign. What's it called? Destiny. I lost a destiny. Oh well. Oh, I died. I don't have to spend any glory to get my man back. Do you know what I mean? This one chart alone, I think, makes the game that much better. Let alone all the other stuff. Fated quests. So I think when Paul and I go through we will pick a fated quest. Whether we pick a fated quest from here, whether we pick a fated quest from there, we've got like I don't know how many are in each. It's got to be 20. It's got to be 20 fated quests to pick from, and we've played one each. So you know we can really mix it up. I won't go through the fated quests. You know what a fated quest is. It is a prescribed set of convergences with rewards and whatnot on the way. When you've completed your campaign, you can choose honour or glory, and you will get the corresponding reward, which is all pretty good. Again, I won't go through those because me and Paul didn't go through them in the last one, and it was quite a nice surprise to be like, what am I going to get at the end? You know, that's quite cool. Some of these in this book use some of the extra maps the extra pack of maps that we got. Well, we didn't get, courtesy of one of our friends, on loan. So we can use that in all of those. That would be quite cool. So with the wildfires, it's part of the challenge battles. So in the there's been some in White Dwarf, like where you can fight Gotrek and stuff like that. You can use is it Bugmanson, that model that come out? You know, he's got like the beer in his hand. He's like the descendant of Joseph Bugman. That's pretty cool. And you can have like a challenge battle where you join forces with him and stuff like that. That's the sort of thing that the challenge battles are. And the wild fighters are basically used when you can have two teams, two warbands, can join forces, and you can fight against wild fighters. They've got a behaviour table here, so they've got like an AI that moves them instead of like the players roll off and the winner the person rolls for it on a free up. That was wrong. You get a 3-up. You can control the monster. If you fail that, you lose your activation, and your opponent gets to do it. So in this, there's a behaviour chart. So no one controls them. This little chart does, and then they have abilities to use. Wildfighter abilities. They can berserk, charge, deadly strike, fury, indomitable, or recuperate. And you can gather from the names sort of what they do, and it's got like similar to Blackstone Fortress. So you roll a d6, and it's if they're in combat range, if they're in threat range, if they are beyond threat range. Those terms are clarified above, and then you do the action to where they are, and so I can see that being quite fun. That'd be like, you know. Again, I can see that being more of a beer and pretzel sort of thing. Like, you know, you and your mate just want to have a laugh and have a little romp around. That'd be quite cool. Would it be something we did on the channel? I don't know. I mean, there's so much content you can pull out of these books. It's just like, it's ridiculous. You could purely play this. There's a picture of a mega gargant there, so you can fight against a mega gargant. I won't go through the stats for everything. I'm getting a bit sort of man who reads book here, but it's such a good book. The Mega Gargant has got 150 wounds. So, and I think you've got 6 rounds to kill him, and his damage is 10 for a regular hit and 20 for a critical. So, you want to be. I think you can muster 2,000 points against him, but like these are the challenge battles. March of the Dead. I'm assuming you fight undead. The Fall of Snagglewort. That's got like a Gloomspite Gitz picture with it. The Wrath of Clorg. That's the Mega Gargant. Yeah, I think you can muster 1,200 points. You can muster 1,200 points against him. This Envoy of the Demon King. You have to fight a Lord of Change, who's got 120 wounds, and a 9-inch ranged attack with 9 attacks. Is that 9 attacks? That is. No, that's wrong. Oh, whew. The Gargant is strength 10. The Lord of Change is strength 9. 3 attacks. That's a lot of that. Otherwise, why would you do it? You just wouldn't do it to yourself, would you? Again, there's spoils of victory for them. That sort of thing would be quite good to do on the channel. Is like a one-off. Like, right, Paul is going to try and take on a Mega Gargant. Do you know what I mean? That'd be pretty cool. Artifacts of Power. Artifacts of Power for the treasure. You get a treasure hoard if you beat one of those. And these are all really good because those are really hard battles. So you can really upgrade yourself there. Right, this is the bit that was pretty cool. So this is the bit that we will use on the channel, because the Canaanite Shadowstalkers, I believe, are order. So when Paul and I play, because we will do a Catacombs campaign, I will be searching on the Chaos Lesser Artifact chart, and Paul obviously will be searching on the Order one. So you're going to get a real good mix of, like, it's not just we're both going to be picking out of the same pot basically. So I mean, some of them do seem like there's a Chaos one, and it's what was it? Where is it? There it is. The Scryer Time Sparker, which obviously I'm assuming is a Skaven artifact, consumable. I won't read for it all, but long story short, you get to use Rampage without using any dice, so you get a free quad. It's a 63, so when you're searching, you need to get a 63, but once per game. Is it once per game? The bearer can use this artifact bonus action if they do so. Oh, of course it is. It's consumable, so you just once it's gone, it's gone. But that's ridiculous. you get a free quad. The Order Lesser Artifacts, they're all pretty cool. There's I think Order and Destruction They can find a cask of Bugman's 6x. That's pretty sweet. You heal 2d6, and then you get to make a bonus move and a bonus attack. So you drink, get Dutch courage, and run in and bash someone. So that's pretty cool. The Order would be the one that Paul's drawing from. Obviously, Destruction, Death, Destruction get the Bugman's 6x as well for some reason. I don't know why. But and then into matched play at the end. Match play's like tournament stuff, isn't it? I suppose, but not that that's not really. You wouldn't use that for narrative stuff. I'm sure there are narrative tournaments, but yeah, that's obviously like competitive play. So it's got pre-built things that are all like everything's equal, everything's even, symmetrical. Everyone's got the best. Everyone's got a chance of doing something cool. No one's going to get a leg up on anyone. There's a pretty cool thing, hidden agendas. I'm not entirely sure if that's been a thing before. I can't remember, but they're like a tiebreaker. They're like a tiebreaker scenario, and there's 12, and you secretly pick one. Is it secretly pick one? Placing or placing it. You can photocopy these and print them out because it says place a card. I don't think they've released any cards with these agendas on them. But yeah, they're basically a tiebreaker mechanic, which is pretty cool for competitive play because obviously you are going to get some of that scenario is going to come up. Escalation tournaments. I won't go through that. But I guess that's just a different way of doing tournament play. That's pretty cool. And that's essentially it. I think at the back here you've got an appendix for like how it's got like how to, if you're just playing, if you don't like using the cards, so you can use the terrain. It's got a terrain generator for amounts of terrain you want to put on there. It's got some examples of people kit bashing terrain, roaming beasts. These are all, I think these are all in the Monsters and Mercenaries. Pretty sure they are. I think this one's new. The Wild Rock Gut Troggoth. Saying that, no, it's got 2 new Troggoths. There's 2 new Troggoths there. They're not in here before. You got the Fellwater and the Rock Gut Troggoths. The Squigs were in there before. They've all got abilities. That's pretty cool. So that just adds a little bit of extra in there. And I'm pretty sure this is the Restless Undead. It's all like Nighthaunt models and stuff that you can have as like, you could, if one of your twists is like add 300 points of roaming beasts, but they have to have the same rune mark, the faction rune mark. So you could add in like 4 chain rasps come in, a spirit, whatever. It's got them here. You can add those in. That's pretty cool. I like that. I own what are they called? Bed sheets. The name escapes me, but Nighthaunt. There you go. I own a Nighthaunt army, so that's pretty cool. We got those models we can add into the campaign. That's cool. I like that. That's the open play. And that's basically it. I know I went a bit longer on that book. I know it's a bit thicker. It's not that much thicker. But the Tome of Champions, I just think it just adds so much more. And granted, I think the front sort of like maybe 30% of the book is an entirely new campaign campaign system. So it's not just like player fated quest. There's actually like a real deep like whole system for just, it's like not a different game. But if you were getting a bit bored, maybe you play that, and I think, and you have someone who's organising it as well. That'd be cool, like doing it on a week-to-week beat. Oh, you wouldn't have to play it like, you can play as many games as you like in the first 4 weeks, because if you do that, you are going to get like a big difference in like warband level. Do you know what I mean? So if you like meet up with your mates once a week or something, you can like do a round robin, who plays who, make sure you all get 4 games in before the first week's up, and move on. So obviously that's like, no one's holding a gun to your head when you're playing the campaigns. You do how you like. But yeah, that is those 2 books. I think the Catacombs book, much like the starter set, the first Warcry starter set, it's almost like people will look at it and go, oh, it's a bit vanilla. You're sort of playing on the same 2 boards all the time, But I think if this is the only one you've got, if you've just got into Warcry and started playing Catacombs, it's a blast. Absolutely, it's going to be absolutely brilliant. But and I think it's like a little bit more interesting than vanilla Warcry. But I don't know whether that's because I've played a lot of vanilla Warcry and it's just a change. But maybe that's it. I don't know. But I cannot recommend the Tome of Champions, even if like you find Tome of Champions 2019 like on sale somewhere real cheap. Pick it up. It's absolutely amazing. Like, revolutionises the game. I'm banging on like they're paying me, but they're not. But and the 2021, I think we're adding in the different faction treasure charts, lesser artifact searches. Again, just adds in a whole other thing. Adding in that thing where you're only doing your consumables now give you a bonus action, so you're not having to, because consumables in vanilla Warcry are almost pointless. You're like, well, why would I drink that potion that gives me onslaught when now I've just lost half my attacks to gain 1? Why don't I just attack twice? do you know what I mean? Or like, I've gained an extra movement, but I can only move once now. Now you can drink that potion, then double move. Drink that potion or eat that whatever, and get +1 attack on both of your attack actions. So that I think that's a brilliant change. But for me, arguably, is it the best change in the book? I don't know, but it's good. It's very good. But I've probably waffled on about those books for quite enough now. Well, there you have it, guys. That is Warcry Catacombs and Warcry Tome of Champions 2020 waffled on. We do plan with when we can get going again with, again, like I said, the UK lockdowns and that, when they ease up and we can mix in a bit more, at all, we will be doing, I keep pointing over here because that's where the board is at the moment, we will be doing a Warcry Catacombs campaign using the Tome of Champions 2020 with the Signs of the Flame and the Canaanite Shadowstalkers. We will be doing that. We will also be doing Blood Bowl. We're not going to do a Blood Bowl League because with only 2 of us playing on the channel, it'll get a bit, I don't know, the logistics of it are stupid. So what we're going to do is a 3-match test series format. So if any of you out there, rugby fans, if an international team goes on a tour, they'll go to another country, they'll play that country 3 times, and it's a best of 3. So we'll be doing that with the starter set, the second season starter set. So that will be the Boggenhof Barons and the, I can't remember their name, the Black Orcs out of it. We'll be doing 3 tournament format, team building, but a 3-game series. We both own a couple of those teams as well, so it won't be like load of it in a row. So, but it'll be like a test match series, some other stuff, a test match series, blah blah, whatever. With our multiple teams. What we're doing as well, me and Paul have both been painting up new stuff for our Age of Sigmar armies. New units. I think I've actually got an entirely new army. I've got my Gargants, got my Mega Gargants. So there's some pictures of those on my Instagram that I've been painting up. Still got to finish off the Mega Gargant. That's quite a big model, and I want them to look really good. So I've been putting in quite a bit of effort to them. And I won't go through all what we've got, but we've got some new units, new armies that we will be playing Age of Sigmar with. Also, we will be doing a 40k Crusade campaign, narrative campaign. We'll use some of the stuff out of the White Dwarf as well, White Dwarf articles they've been doing. That will be featuring Death Guard and Blood Angels. Both Paul and I have, but we've both got quite large armies for that. So, but we're quite we're a bit green when it comes to 40k. So we will be. It'll be like an escalation. So it'll start off with small, but there'll be a narrative to it using the Crusade rules. So that'll be again a narrative style thing as opposed to tournament lists trying to really turn each other over. And what else we got? We've got Necromunda as well. We've got Necromunda. We're painting up all the terrain for that. A mix between Zone Mortalis and Sector Mechanicus. So I've got an entire table of Sector Mechanicus stuff that I painted up a few years ago. Not the GW stuff, third party stuff, but it's a pretty cool table, all lights and stuff. That looks pretty sweet. So we'll be getting that going as well. I do think that's it. I think that's it. I might have missed something. Let me check my phone really professionally and see if I missed anything. No, that was good. Didn't need to do that. But yeah, so if you've subscribed to us over this difficult period, we are really grateful for that. I hope if you have watched the campaign that we did, I hope you enjoyed it. And like I've just said, there's quite a lot in the works that we're getting painted up. What is it people say? They're like, smash that thumbs up button. But I don't want you to do that. I say it in an American accent because that's what I hear a lot. I watch a lot of American channels. We would like you to press the thumbs up button with the appropriate amount of pressure that it changes colour and doesn't break your device. That'd be much appreciated. We will see you sometime soon.